All right, all right, all right. Good people. Well, I know most of you probably used to seeing me on a Monday night, me and Herb in the counselor's corner. But I decided to, I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit more with my live broadcast. So I wanted to go back to my roots. We've been through a lot in 2020, and I got a lot of idle time on my hands. So, you're always thinking when you got a brand on what can I do to improve? What can I do? Let me add her to the screen.
I'm here.
What's going on, man?
Man, it's a Thursday, man. I'm off,
Yeah, you said you
loaded.
off?
Yeah, off and I'm loaded, doing some things, like you said, man, developing the brand. And I would encourage everybody to do likewise.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go back into the. So I said to myself, man, I need to go back to the roots of how all of this stuff evolved because never in a million years what I thought I would be doing some in front of a camera, doing some live broadcasts. Because simply, I was never built like that. I'm always quiet or shy unless I'm around certain people. But then that just shows you growth. What we always talk about is sometimes you got to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. So I'm still working through that, trying to get comfortable in this. So I said I'm gonna go back to my roots. How you doing, Marcia? And what I decided is like, man, I'm gonna go back to cocktail conversations. Start looking at those scenarios. I post them here and there. They may pop up in my memories. But how many of y'all remember uh, cocktail conversations that came out like 6 years ago? And it was epic. It was epic. I was on an emotional high when it came out. And I made the comment on here, I think it's on the back, and I said, this is the most relevant book since the Bible. Boy, did I get slack for that. Because what also I understand is people, simply adults, don't understand context. So they thought I was trying to equate it to being like the Bible. But I said it's the most relevant book since the Bible. So then I got a lot of slack, like, oh, you disrespecting Maya Angelou and all them people. Maya Angelou, them is, may she rest in peace, but they're dead. Um, so I don't mean no disrespect for that, but I was just saying that, hey, most people, I ain't gonna say most, but many people go and they worship church, and the pastor goes through and takes out sermons or stories from the Bible. None of us have any recollection of what really went on, but we tend to follow that. And in my book, Cocktail Conversations, I always said, man, it's day to day situations, day to day current situations that need to be addressed because people are always sweeping things under the rug. They tell their certain friends or certain family members what's going on, but we never really talk about it as a whole. So tonight I said again, I'm gonna go back to my roots and I hope that more people join in. I wouldn't call it a book club because I never organized it like that, but from time to time I'm gonna just go through the book doing scenarios. And tonight the scenario happens to be chasing scars. But the title of this segment is "Never Withhold Sex from Your Man," because that was the main central ideal thought behind or the summarization of this particular scenario. So we're gonna dive into it. Let me see. I'm gonna read the scenario. So, like I said, sort of like a book club, but not a book club because I never organized it that way. Then I'm gonna give her time to chime in, but I'm gonna read the scenario first. So, scenario one: chasing skirts. And people, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share. Some of you, you've been following me for years. We got to pick up the pace. We got to pick up. If 2020 ain't taught you anything, it should teach us a sense of urgency. Like tomorrow ain't promised. Like we got to step our game up. We don't know what type of riffraff they gonna pull up under us. So you got to tighten yourself up in different areas. I'm a school counselor by day, but also building my brand as an author, doing broadcast, podcasts. Me and her have been going at it for a while. It's time to just pick it up and man, in all avenues. So, but I need my followers and people like that. I need your assistance. It's not that hard to click on something. I know most people they'll go on to YouTube and look for stuff. Just subscribe. That's all I'm asking. All right. So this scenario: chase the skirts. Greg comes home from the end of a 60-hour work week. 60 hours. He put in work. So that's 20 hours of overtime, or could be 25 if he worked a 35-hour work week, and just wants to have a beer and relax. His homeboy Dwayne calls him up and says, "Let's hit the strip club, homie, so you can spend some of that OT money." Greg decided to meet Dwayne out at Becky's backside. Becky's backside. When Greg came home, Tab, his fiancee, was dressed in a negligee and attempted to seduce him. And he says, "Not tonight, baby. I am too tired for sex." She storms out the room, and for the next week, she denies him sex. What should he do? And why do most women play those games? Mm, mm, mm. I'm gonna bring you in, Herb, on that. What's your take on that whole situation? I know you may work two jobs, and you know the grind of working. And sometimes when a man works that, he want to do what the hell he want to do when he wants to do it, and don't want to hear no lip or no attitude about it.
Uh, the demands of modern society, or more particular to it, Western culture. I think with this scenario, you have a couple different things that need to be get navigated, and one, quite obviously, is the female emotional response. And for a lot of women, when they offer their essence to a man and they're refused, particularly when they dress it up in the manner that's presented in the scenario, they are offended. They're thinking, I'm giving you the one thing that nobody else on this planet can give you. You are flat out denying me. Not only are you denying me, you're taking something from me that I feel I should have a right to. Understand what I said? Feel that I have a right to. So the way they can react to exact their pound of flesh is to withhold sex. Now, whether you think it's wrong or right is immaterial in terms of how the woman feel, and like I said, that's the first minefield that needs to be navigated. Because if you as a man can't aid your woman in controlling her emotions, or at least dealing with them to the point to where she doesn't react and go so far out of focus that you can't reel her back in, then your relationship, whether it's a friends with benefit, side piece, you're dating, or you're married, you're always going to find yourself in opposition to what she wants, and you're going to spend more time arguing and trying to figure out what you can do, how you need to handle this, as opposed to allowing her to work through certain things. So, with this, he earned that. I know I put in 60 hours, and I've come home, and and I haven't had anybody live with me, so I haven't had to deal with that. But I come home and I just crash. I remember, because I'll preface it like this. Last year, I was working close to 60 hours. Now I would go from one job, come home, change, and go directly to the other. I remember one time sitting on the bus, man, and I was so tired that I fell asleep. Woke up on the other side of town. Now we're talking about in the middle of winter. There are no buses coming back the other way, so I got to walk about a half an hour to get home. That's how tired I was. So, just imagine me coming home from a shift, like from a day like that, and my girl or my wife want to get it in. I'm just like, my boy calls and said, you know what, man, Aaron, let's go out, man. Let's go hang. I'm like, you know what, yeah, man. I get to see you so infrequently. I go out, we throw back a couple shots. We might watch the game or watch some women at the strip club, like the scenario was said. And I come home an hour later. I go to sleep. You want to be mad? Well, be mad when you turn on them lights. Be mad when you go to the refrigerator and open it up and it's got food in there. Be mad when you put the key in the ignition of that car. Be mad when you turn the lock to that door. Be mad about that. You're never mad about that. And this is the thing that men have to navigate. It's almost like dealing with a petulant child. Sometimes you have to pull that petulant child aside and say, hey, look, that's unacceptable. I understand you were mad. I understand you were upset. I understand you were angry, but you got to do a better job than that. And as far as the withholding sex, you keep that up, you're going to find your ass out on the street, or you're going to find me out, gone.
Mm. Well, okay. So let me and there's so much truth to that, and you got, and again, I'm gonna always go back to that. Know your personnel. You got to know, especially if it's your man and he doesn't typically go out, and he usually come home, have his beer, relax, and all of a sudden he changes up the plan. There's no need. Sometimes you just got to let it be, but all too often you're seeking advice from other people, and you're getting on the phone talking to your girlfriend and like, oh, he had the nerve. I was looking sexy for him, but he went out with Dwayne. Yeah, then all of a sudden he ain't want to do nothing, and they like, girl, he must have been in the back room with those strippers or whatever, and it causes you to have an attitude. Keep damn people out of your damn business and deal with your man as a separate individual. I don't care if it's your mother, your daddy, or whatever the case is. Deal with the initial issue up front with the person you have a issue with. So some of the perspectives in this situation was, many of the perspectives felt like Tab was right for her actions because Greg did not put Tab's needs first. So this was viewed as punishment. And we know that those perspectives were coming from women. And there were some other perspectives that centered on women should never use withholding sex as a way to get back at men. Some of the knowledge based on the scenario, based on the knowledge, Greg's plan was to relax that evening after working 60 hours, but he decided to go to the strip club. In my opinion, when someone works that much, it should not be an issue if that person wants to take some time for themselves. Shouldn't be an issue, a non-issue. Have nothing to say. It's a different story when he doesn't work and you have expectations for him, and then all of a sudden he's hanging out. But when somebody works and they put in work, let that shit be for real. And I think that's a lot of the issues. Actions. If it was me in this position, I may have done the same thing if I was tired. But assure me, my plans would be to make it right the next day. You're not going to die overnight, I hope. Well, I can't say that some people do, but if you're in good health, then most people think positive that they're going to live to see another day. Y'all can always get down the next day. The next day. So it's not the end of the world. Some of the consequences based on the scenario, if Tab holding back on sex, I can easily envision Greg hitting the strip club again and possibly finding someone to service him. It's real.
And you know what the funny thing about that particular statement is this. This is just like you were saying earlier. Keep people out, keep your female friends out of your business. There was a court case, and I don't know what show it was on. Brother was out with his cousin, unbeknown to his girlfriend's friend, who went back and told her that he was cheating, all because the two were being affectionate. Now, it turns out after everything is disclosed and it comes out in the wash that she was going through some difficulties with her mate. So the girlfriend ends up putting something in the drink, knocking a guy out, and cutting his dreads.
Mm.
See, this is why women, speaking specifically to you, you have to measure your response, even if you think you are right. I'll say it again. You have to measure your response, even if you think you are right, because if you are wrong, more often than not, the actions that you all engage in, most of the time, there is no coming back. You key somebody's car, you flatten their tire, you cut their clothes, and all of a sudden you do it, and then you realize the actions were done out of malice and they were erroneous, or the information that compelled you to do that was erroneous. So now you can't go back and undo that. You can't go back and fix that. You destroyed the man's clothes, just like I just said. She cut his dreads. You
Yeah,
can't. There's no coming back from that.
yeah, you take those actions. It's crazy. Now, one of the it was a couple highlighted perspectives that I wanted to read. One of them was he wasn't too tired to hang with his friends. He told her not tonight. She told him not tonight for a few weeks. Okay, that will teach his ass to man up. I just don't know too many men, quality men, that you think you can put on punishment like that. You really can't. And we know that the available women compared to men is outnumbered. So a quality man have his pick of the litter.
Yes, he does.
And I know some women feel like, well, I have my pick of the litter too, but it may be a different circumstance. Your pick of the litter may be a married man, someone who's in jail, or just got out of jail, somebody that's unemployed. I mean, men had these issues too. It's a lot of women, they go to jail too. They do something, they unemployed, but for a quality man, I think he can navigate a little more and have a little more options. So to think you could put him on punishment, not a good idea. My suggestion, not a good idea. Not in this day and time. But that, and I'm gonna let you chime in, Herb. But then I had a guy who said this: the vagina is not a belt or a disciplinary weapon. Children are children are to be disciplined, not adults. Do not start using sex as a way to control your mate. The very thing you use could very well be the thing he ultimately used as an excuse when he exits out of your life.
Hmm. And I think that's what, because Rebecca had made a comment with regards to men having been doing that all the time. Now, I can't speak to what she knows or what she's experienced, or what she's seen or witnessed. I don't know of any men who have used their money to dictate when they're going to have sex with women. I don't know how it's possible. So I'm kind of anxious to see how she's going to answer that, because Randy also said that the only women to experience that were the boomers, and Rebecca's slightly before Gen X. I think she's in her mid 50s. So I'm curious to see how that answer is going to come out. But in terms of using sex as a discipline, or the withdrawing of sex as a disciplinary tool, that's like an ultimatum. And we all know ultimatums saying, I only good for getting people to leave you alone. That does not work. That's like putting water on a grease fire. You gonna get one hell of a scorched earth policy and popping all over the place, and you're hoping you're not too close, because it's gonna get you.
Yeah, that's true. And Marcia's on here, and I knew today was going to be kind of slow because people like, what the hell they what's the date? Is today Wednesday? Because I'm losing track of the day. I think it's Wednesday.
Yes, it
So,
is.
so they used to Monday nights, but like I said, it's time to pick up the pace and Hey man, if I'm be sitting around, it's time to go hard. It's time to go full throttle, and hopefully it picks up. Marcia said that's why some women need to remember that it doesn't pay to discuss personal things that go on between you and your guy with your girlfriends. Never know what their intentions are. You just may be opening the gate for them to go after him or start trouble. Most of the time, that may very well be the case.
Divide and conquer. 'Cause
Especially if their man isn't working and your man, like, you living comfortable. You're good. You don't have to worry about anything. He putting in those 60 hours, and then all of a sudden his boy call him up like, damn, where you been, man? I mean, I've been working overtime. Come on, man, let's spend some of this OT money. And he goes to do it. You probably you might not like the fact where he's going, but you probably should say, man, my king, or whatever you want to call him. Like, man, he deserved it, whatever. I'm not gonna trip, whatever. He probably is tired. He haven't seen his homeboy in a minute. They hung out. I'm just gonna let it be. But again, a lot of people can't handle that. That's why we're in such bad conditions as far as relationship wise. That's why these conversations need to be had.
And you know what is funny, and I think to what you just said, that has more to do with it than anything else. Because for me, I don't care for strip clubs or adult entertainment. I consider it to be mindless entertainment. But if you're looking for mindless entertainment with your crew, and that's what they want to do, you say, okay, you know what? When in Rome, do as a Roman. So you know what? We went to the strip club. I mean, I've done that on a number of occasions. I'm just I don't care for them, but I'm going to see some TNA. Watch them slide up and down the pole, no pun intended. and they do their thing. So it's just like, hey, you know what? We were there for about an hour and a half. Yo, man, all right, we can do this next time. Next time, let's go catch a game or whatever the case is. I'm gonna go home. Go ahead and lay it down.
And remember this, people. This platform it's just like a little quick little conversation. Our major heat up and major battles is Monday nights. So this is just something midweek. Keep the conversations flowing. We got our buddy on here, Anita. What's good? How you doing?
This chili's good. I'm eating as usual.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit jealous and a little bit envious that you always come on here eating and you don't share anybody. What'd you do? Fail kindergarten?
You can come over and eat.
That's a long walk.
You said you don't need a car, right?
That's true. Buses do run
Okay,
this way. I'm just not about to get bathed up in chains. I'm home chilling in my PJs. I think that's where I'm gonna stay right
okay.
now.
I like.
I'm just letting it. I'm just putting it out there in the ether so you know.
So, Anita, I don't know how much you heard, but we're talking about this scenario where a guy works 60 hours. His plan was to come home, just chill, have a beer, and relax. His homeboy called him, who hasn't seen him in a while, and was like, "Yo, man, what's good, man? What you been up to?" And his name was Greg. He said, "Man, I just been working overtime, man." And then he was like, "Come on, man, come out, let's hang out, let's spend some of that OT money." So he decided to go to a strip club, and when he gets back, his girl is, well, I don't know, married or whatever the case is, his woman he lived with, same situation. And she, all decked out in her negligee, ready for him, and he told her not tonight. He's tired. So she decides to say, "Oh, put him on punishment. Like, oh, you gonna deny this? Then you won't get this for the next whatever." And let me go right into this comment, then I'll let you respond. Because one of the responses from the book Cocktail Conversation, she said, um, what, only 2 weeks? Because somebody said at least 2 weeks. She said, if my man turns me down because he is too tired after being away from 60 hours that week, working and going out with his friends, he won't get any until his balls turn blue and fall off. If I get sexy and waited up for him, he better take one for the team, whether he is tired or not. Mm, mm, mm. Wow.
You're muted, Anita. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
I might have to.
Anita, unmute yourself.
Yeah, because she muted.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. You
Yeah,
good?
Yep.
we good.
Um, First of all, when I'm in a
Yeah,
can
we
you
hear
guys
you.
hear me? Okay. When I'm in a relationship with somebody, I have that discussion in the beginning that I don't think it's appropriate for my man to be at the strip club. Okay. So however he takes that conversation is on him. So that could be a deal breaker if you want it to be a deal breaker. If you want to be out in the streets instead of home with me, that's on you, right? And we don't belong together.
Mm.
Secondly, if you work and you're tired from work and you're supposed to come home and you change your mind and go to the strip club and make it rain or whatever, enjoy the sliding up and down the pole scene, no, I'm be pissed. I'm like, you're gonna sleep on the couch because now you came home with an erection after seeing those girls, and it wasn't an erection from me, and now you want to have sex? No, I don't think so.
Hold up.
That will
Wait
not
a
be
minute.
happening.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What? Where did this concept come from that men who work 60 hours and do all this stuff has to be put on the couch? Who has to be put on the couch?
Well,
You can put a
I don't.
barrier between us. You can
Hold
put
on.
pillows between us, or whatever the case is. But after working 60 hours, I'm not sleeping on no damn couch unless I decide to.
Okay, well,
You
after
can
working.
get your ass on the
Okay, well,
couch, but I'm not.
I was home minding my own business.
Yeah.
And after working 60 hours, you too tired to come home to me? Yeah, you ain't too tired to hang out with your homeboy? Oh, hell no.
Let me just say this,
I
women.
just,
Let me just say
I
this.
just, I'm not gonna be feeling arguing. I'm not gonna be feeling it. I'm be irritated. I'll give you a hug and a kiss goodnight and make the couch for you, bring you some pillows and blanket, but I'm gonna be irritated.
Well, let
Because
me
I was
jump in.
home minding my own business, and you should have been home with me minding my business.
Let me hop in here and let me adjust something she said up front. How do you believe you have the authority to dictate where a man goes and he doesn't go?
Well, it's if we have that conversation in the beginning, you're gonna know my standards and boundaries, right?
Yes, but what you're assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that he's going to be
You're wrong.
engaged. He's going to be engaging in some type of activity while he's there, which is completely a flawed perspective. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been to a strip club and I've never touched a stripper. Actually, let me not say never, only once. And it wasn't anything, and it wasn't anything that would require protection or anything of that nature. As a matter of fact, we were fully dressed in public. So I understand the thought process behind it, but it's flawed because I can't tell you how many times men go there. They go there to have business meetings are held there. Sometimes people go there just to blow off steam, and you will be surprised how many men go there to actually have discussions with another female because certain things they can't discuss with their significant other.
And they can't go anywhere else, like to Starbucks or Applebee's, to discuss these things. It has to
They
be at a strip club with half naked women. I only been to the strip club one time, and that was only because I was a designated driver for my two guy friends. And that's the only reason why I went, because I didn't want them driving drunk.
Okay, that's fine. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to apply female behavior to a man. That doesn't work. That would
It
be
works if in the beginning
no,
I tell you
no,
I don't think my man
no.
belongs to the strip club.
No, because you're trying to dictate behavior. That's it. What do you like to do outside of the home?
What do I like?
Yes.
Besides take pictures of my pretty feet. We're going back there again. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we can.
Well,
We can.
Yeah, well, I like to do that too, but I like the human and cultural capital that we can acquire by doing something better than being in the strip club. Like going to an art museum, a science museum, go for a walk in the park, identify different trees, different leaves, different bark, different, I don't know, birds, something besides being in the strip club. I don't think that's appropriate for somebody in a relationship. So if we have that conversation in the beginning, you're going to know my standards and boundaries.
Okay, that's fine.
If we've been dating 6 months and all of a sudden, I know you've been going to the strip club, but after 6 months, I come up and say, no, I don't want you at the strip club, then that's a different story. I should have let that been known that I'm not comfortable with that to begin with, right?
I'm not saying you engaging in full disclosure at the beginning of the relationship is wrong. All I'm simply asking you is this. You say you like to go to museums. You say you like to do cultural things. So what if the guy
Mhm.
that you plan on getting into a long-term relationship with says you can't do any of that anymore because he doesn't like it?
Well, I would have the conversation with him in the beginning and ask, like, what don't you
No,
like
this
about
is
it?
the conversation. I'm that guy. You can't go to museums anymore. I think museums are full of nonsense. They engage in witchcraft. They engage in skullduggery. All of that. I don't want you there anymore. What do? You like the guy.
Mm,
He has great qualities.
we're going to have a conversation,
We're
like,
having a
for real.
conversation. You can't go anymore. I'm telling you. You can't. I'm that guy. You can't go anymore.
But there's a difference between doing something wholesome and going to a strip club.
But
What
how?
can you learn at a strip club except for how to um um not sexually exploit but objectify women on the pole?
Who's objectifying who? As Saria so fondly says, fair exchange is no robbery.
I'm saying if you support that, that's on you. I don't support that in my relationship though.
let me interject. If it's a thought way back when when whatever his name was, Greg was tired and his homeboy caught. When you ain't seen one of your homeboys, sometimes the energy that comes up, you'll be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if someone you haven't seen in a while and you were like, man, I'm tired. But I haven't seen him in about 4 or 5 months.
Yep.
So like whatever he want to do, we gonna hang out. And he would say, let's go to the strip club. And that might not be your cup of tea, but you like, that's what he want to do. We
Right.
haven't been out. I'm gonna go there, have a couple beers, whatever. That don't really phase me or whatever the case is. I'm not making it rain, acting a fool. I'm just here because this is where he wanted to go because that's my man. And I haven't seen him in a while. You'll be surprised. Like when I get with my boys, whatever, the energy level, the laughter, and all that stuff. If people can have a camera behind scenes, and they're like, man, oh my God, David, you was totally different. It's a different feeling. See, the problem is guys don't talk to their homeboys like that on a regular basis. And women,
Right.
I talk all day, 2, 3 times a day. So y'all never had that missing separation piece from them because you talk to them constantly through a day. We don't do that. We don't do that. So it's a different feeling, like especially when you get a certain age. You're like, man, we happy, we blessed to be living, and it's my opportunity to see him. I'm gonna see him.
Yeah.
So and we don't talk on the phone like that. So that plays a part into it. And I also wanted to read Fred comment. He said that's putting a band-aid on a deep wound, putting someone on the couch. That's a deal breaker in itself as well. But shout out to my man Fred, Master Barbara. I know you just had a birthday the other day. Happy belated birthday, brother. Much blessings to you.
Sex in the house.
I
And he
mean,
said,
I don't feel like it's like I don't feel like it's putting a band-aid on a wound. I feel like it's the cool down period. Some women will get mad and be mad for a while. I'll be mad for like 2 hours or the rest of the night and wake up and we'll discuss it then. And I'll tell you why I felt the way I felt.
Hey,
And we
John,
from
man.
there. Oh
My
God, here we
man,
go.
Jay
I'm
Boogie.
Oh, John's
John.
from America. He's sending
John
me
from
some.
San
He's sending me a
Antonio.
hotel, an airfare, everything, and we ain't
My
got to worry
man,
about sex because he's supporting abstinence. That's great.
my man,
All
Jay
down for that.
Boogie. Jay Boogie. Oh man.
No, but but these, it's like you said, Anita. These are the conversations that need to be had up front. And what I would suggest is, letting the individual know, that when they violate certain aspects of an agreement, there is a price to pay. But the question becomes, what price are they going to have to pay? To me, that's not a price. That's that's saying, I don't like how this is, so I'm gonna take my ball and I'm gonna go home. So you're not ending the game. You're saying the game can't be played. Let me phrase this correctly. You're not ending the game for that particular day. You're saying the game can't ever be played again, or at least until I want to play. And as a human, as a free human walking this planet, you absolutely have the right to do that. But the question becomes, are you ready for the repercussions and the consequences of that decision? And so often we will make those decisions without the forethought of actually even thinking about what's going to come behind that. And then when the backlash comes, and the backlash is so severe, we say, well, we didn't think that was going to happen. Of course you didn't, because if you did, you wouldn't have done it. You would have thought differently. You'd have acted differently. And this is why I said earlier, you have to, as a man, you have to be able to manage a woman's emotions to get her to the point where she was going to be upset, but you have to kind of guide her in how to deal with her being upset so she doesn't destroy your house. It's like the Bible said, a man would rather sleep on the roof than live in the house with a quarrelsome woman, or something to that effect. For the people who out there are religious, I don't read the Bible that often, so if I spoke on that, please correct me, and don't be too harsh.
We got, I think we got John from America
Hey,
in here. What's
Hey,
going on,
yo,
brother?
yo, yo, what's up, friends?
hey,
What's going
Oh, we
on?
finally see John's face. Oh,
Yep,
oh.
yep. I'm a
John.
28-year-old man. If any girls are looking for a guy, uh,
Don't
John
you
I'm
sweat,
just
John.
kidding.
Wait,
what's
we're
that?
still
God didn't
practicing
need a shot, he didn't
abstinence,
like.
right?
Say it again, huh?
We're still
Say it.
practicing abstinence, right? You're still
Yeah, of
advocating
course.
for
Yeah,
abstinence until you get married.
yeah. I gotta know what the heck. No one said until we get married. You're putting words in my mouth now. I gotta,
Well,
I gotta
I
know
was
the
just throwing
person.
it out there.
No, I gotta know the
Oh,
person. I am not like the first day. Girls want to jump on me the first day they meet me. I don't mind, but I want more than just uh, a sexual relationship. So
Well,
well,
you
girls
that's
gotta
try.
good.
set up like that though.
Say it
You
again.
gotta set up like that. Because women are going to follow your lead. And what I am trying to instruct a lot of younger guys that are where you are right now is, it's not going to be so much what you say, it's going to be so much what you do. And if you're putting out a certain vibe and women detect that, they will jump on that vibe. No pun intended. They will jump on that figuratively and literally. So if they get the inkling that you want to deal with them in a physical capacity and they're about that life, you better buckle your chin strap.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard, as a human being, not to kind of start feeling some kind of way when they start, you know, treating you a certain kind of way. Like, uh, that's it. That's what I gotta say. It's I'm not. I don't. I'm the first one to be like no, but if you're telling me I can't even think about it or feel like it, it's hard not to feel. I see somebody I like, and then I just feel these feelings. I can't control how I feel, and if I really like, that's what the spark is. If I really like somebody, it's just like these emotions go through me right when I see the person, and I want to know more about them. And,
And,
yeah,
and I think that's natural. The physical attraction is the first attraction, but then when you had those conversations over and over, and that's where certain things come out and you say, nah, I don't like the way she said this, or she got, or, or he got a little emotional about this. So it's, it's the weeding out process, but the physical attraction is the first attraction. You may see somebody like, man, I need to have a conversation with her. We need to talk. I would love to have dinner with her, whatever the case. But you got to have your game plan and preparation before you do all that.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the song Olivia Newton-John did in the '80s, titled "Let's Get Physical," and that's what that song is about. I mean, ultimately, we all have the innate desire to have sex. Some people's sex drive is a little higher, some people's a little lower, but we all have it. The question becomes, how do you put a saddle on that so you can control it? And that's where you are right now. You're trying to figure out, how do I actually control it so it doesn't run me, I run it. And then I'll mention another aspect that was covered in the movie Colors. At the beginning of the movie, they're in a squad car, and the gentleman says, or Sean Penn's character says to Robert Duvall's character, or am I getting that story? Am I getting that backwards? He said, well, anyway, he's talking the story about the the Papa Bull and his son. He says, Dad, why don't we run down there and get it on with a cow? Father says, no, son. He said, let's walk down there and get it on with all of them. So that's where you are. And like I said, it's not wrong. I don't want anybody to assess, particularly yourself, John. I don't want you to assess a wrong or right with how you feel. What you have to understand is there's a way to deal with it where you come out on top, and then there's a way to deal with it that you come out on the bottom. And what you want is a way that you can deal with it that leaves you on top, because eventually, even as a man, you're going to end up empty. And that's where the resentment will come in. You'll start to sound like a scorned woman, where all these women, all they want is sex. They want me for my material items and things of that nature. So that's what you want to try and stay away from. And like I said, I understand the drive to to get there, because I see women, because of where I work at. I see women all the time. I'm just like, yo, she's smoking. But that's where it ends. I draw that line, and self mastery
wait.
is
Okay,
what,
so
John?
you never had that problem? You never had that problem? Like the more money you have, the more attractive you, like the more willing girls are to talk to you. You never experienced that?
No, and I'll tell you why. I have a little philosophy that I live by. I'm broke, I'm homeless, and I eat the rinds off a watermelon out of the garbage can. When you display that you have finances, you're going to attract gold diggers or people who want to exploit those finances.
I mean,
So,
I gotta cash my check somehow.
okay, that's fine. That,
Yeah.
that's fine. Want me to tell you how you do that? When you cash your check, wear clothes that symbolize that you don't have any money. Wear clothes that symbolize you are broke. Because when you dress well, people see that. Case in point, if you pull up to the bank and you get out of the BMW, what are people going to think?
I take the bus. I take the bus to the bank, and I wear like a Rick and Morty shirt and like a regular like jean pants. I don't wear suits, and I have a suit, but I don't wear them unless I'm going somewhere special. I don't even have a car. I take the bus. Right. I have a
I understand what
skateboard. I have a
I
skateboard
understand what
and
you're saying.
a bike.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, when you see somebody get out of a BMW, what do you think about them in terms of finances?
That they're financially secure and
Co-
stable, not
co-
that they're going to attract gold diggers because now you're stereotyping all women into
No,
that
no, no, no.
category.
No, not women. People. I'm talking about people in general. People. The more you
He was
have, the
talking,
the more people want to
no,
take.
John, last
Women,
time you were talking about women. Herb just
BMW,
said about women, you attract gold diggers.
you're going to attract people who are
Well,
looking
yeah,
to
I'm
exploit,
saying yeah, gross. Okay,
whether it's male
go
or
ahead.
female. Don't think that there aren't guys out there who are looking to exploit other guys for their money. Believe me, they're out there. They just come about it at a different way. They ask, yo, can I borrow this? I'm short on this. I need this. Yo, can you help me pay for this? They're out there. They just do it differently than women. That's why I was saying the BMW, because BMWs, Mercedes, not necessarily Audis. I'm trying to think of another higher end car. But they're status symbols. Those cars are to convey to people that I have money. I am fine.
Yeah, that's my mom. That's what my mom does. I don't do that.
So that's what I'm saying. If you want to understand how to protect yourself from people who are money vultures, you have to understand what attracts them. So don't talk about money. I don't care unless you're in a business meeting with people who are doing business. Don't talk about money. If a woman asks you what you do for a living, yeah, just tell her what profession you're in. Don't tell her what you make. It's none of her business what you make.
Let me interrupt. Like I said, this platform is not going to be that long. I will go an hour. We're not going to go no more than an hour. Monday nights we go at it. So we got like about 14 minutes left, and we're going to keep these conversations going Monday night, Wednesday night, and we're going to keep having these dialogues. But this is, of course, Monday nights. That's what we're known for. So it's going to be a different platform. I just wanted to put this scenario out there about the guy working overtime, getting a little money, and his woman, put demands on. And listening to Anita, it was certain things that she said. She puts it out there, and there's nothing wrong with putting it out there. Uh, but certain times, just because we may put something out there, you might have to have a little leeway and say, well, he doesn't really go out to strip clubs like that. He got with his friends. He haven't seen them in a while. But I guess the thing is, like, for me, if I'm with someone, they're gonna know significant people in my life, like far as friends.
Mhm.
If all of a sudden come up with some Raul that I ain't never talked about in years, you're like, who the hell is this? That's suspect. But if you hear the same names over and over, you're like, oh, I never met him, but he talks about him a lot. So they have, a good history. It's a lot of things that people have to pay attention to. And I think sometimes we do a poor job in that.
Yeah, that much I will agree with. The funny thing about that is I I like seriously my right hand man, he's in Florida, so I get to see him like once a year. So as tired as I am, if he's a knock on my door, I get dressed and we gonna go somewhere. That's just like David said. For men, the older we get, the stronger our bonds tend to become, because we understand, especially as minority males, we understand that our life expectancy isn't as long as everyone else's. So it's treasure every moment you get to spend with them, because you don't know when that bell is going to be rung. So there's a lot of truth to what David has said in that term. But I don't have my male friends. One's essentially married, even though his children are out of the house. But I work midnight, so my whole lifestyle is completely 180 from what everyone else does. When everybody else is sleeping, I'm up grinding. I'll come home, get a couple hours sleep, and then if it's the summertime, I wake up between noon and 1 religiously. I'll get out, get some exercise for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I'll come back home, do some things, errands, bookkeeping, and I'm about time 5 o'clock rolls around. I'm getting ready to go to bed, and that's pretty much what I do. So I'm always looking to plan things. So if I do something at the spur of the moment, it's an opportunity. Like they said, you only live once. So YOLO, I don't really do that, but if it comes along, I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go. Case in point, and I'll get up and let people speak. A few years ago, the Yankees had made the playoffs, and they were playing against Cleveland. I looked at the how the games were setting up, and I was like, yo, I can get down to Cleveland and see the Yankees playing a playoff game. Now, as a lifelong Yankee fan, I've never seen them in the postseason. I was like, yo, that would be the coolest thing on the planet. I didn't have a ticket, but I was like, that's not going to deter me, because they'll be off the scalping. So I call somebody. They couldn't get it in their schedule. And I went dolo. Got down there, and I didn't buy any tickets because I didn't trust the scalpers. I didn't want somebody to be reselling a ticket that was already sold. So I just hung out in between Progressive Field and Gund Arena. Gund Arena is where the Cleveland Cavs play. And at that particular day, they were having a preseason game. So I was just out there just milling around, and the Yankees were beating them. I was out there just having a blast. And they emptied out. Started talking trash to this one dude. He said they're gonna come back and win. I said no, they're not. This game is over. CC was throwing. Next thing you know, they came back and won that game. I was mad, but I had a blast. And I went down there by myself. And I think this is why I always tell people on our regular show. Life happens out there. It's like Kevin Samuel says. Get out in the world and live. Stop staying at home. And even if it's COVID, get to your neighbors. Go somewhere. Get out. Shovel snow. Learn to ice skate. Get out of your house because all this stuff is going to have is going to take a toll on you mentally. And then once your mental goes, your physical is right there.
Yeah, and I think I remember that you posted pictures when you did that, Herb, and that was big. Like most people won't travel and do things solo. Sometimes you just got to get on a plane, get on a bus, or do whatever, and just get away, and just enjoy. If you decide to post pictures or whatever the case is, do so. But if not, just get away. Times is getting critical right now, and as we can see, and that's relationship wise and just period of just living. So you might as well do it. So in this particular situation, to withhold sex and to have an attitude with him, again, KYP, know your personnel. Should have been done. Is he someone that most of the time he works his thing, he come home and chill? Then one of his good friends hit him up. I know how he feels about him because he talks about him. And I've seen how giddy he is when they interact with each other. Let it go. Let it go. I don't give a damn if you went to Vicky's Secret and got that lingerie on. You shouldn't have put that shit on because you already know he had worked and he went on. That was your fault. He never said, now, if you'd have put it on and he didn't leave nowhere and you was darting through like that and he was like, damn, baby. But when he went out, you know he was when he came in, and it doesn't mean like he was in the back room and doing all this stuff. He could have just had a couple beers, just sitting around, looking at the scenery, kicking it with his boys, and said, you know what? After that, man, I'm about to head home, man. Because after a while, if you've been in those spots, I've been in a couple. I'm like, all right, this is enough of this. Whatever, I'm ready to go. This is not my cup of tea.
Right.
And some people, that's their thing. I'm just saying, ladies, yes, you got to be open minded to certain things. Guys as well.
Even if
Yeah,
go ahead, John.
I wanna add on that. Speaking to the women, I'm just playing. I got nothing. Just kidding.
God, God, speak your mind, man. Speak
Yeah.
your mind.
No, I was just messing around. I don't got nothing
Okay.
to say. I'm listening. I'm just listening right now.
Yeah, so and I'm noted for being a hardline man. So I understand where you're coming from, Anita, because there's certain things that I just I don't tolerate. But in terms of what
Mm-hmm.
somebody does, I I don't walk that line. If that's what you've done before you met me, I expect you to do it while you're meeting me. And if it happens
No, you
after you
don't. No, you don't.
say it again,
No, you don't.
why
Because
not?
you have boundaries yourself. You say it every show. You have boundaries. You have expectations that you won't deal with other people.
You're
So
correct.
even though, hold on, even though you know I'm always late and we get together and you're my boyfriend, you're going to be mad because I'm late,
No, you're only gonna be late
knowing
one.
that, hold on, knowing I already told you that I'm usually late for everything. Okay. You already know this about me, but now you want to be my boyfriend and now it's going to irritate you.
I
Why even go there?
We
I
got five
understand.
minutes left.
Now, I
Eh,
understand what you're
All
saying. What
right,
I'm
all
saying
right,
is,
John. Thanks for being a timekeeper. We do. We
I
got
understand
5 minutes
what you're saying.
left.
What I'm saying is, I'm not going to do that. What I'm specifically, I'm aiming at a specific thing. If you have things that you do, I'm not going to stop you from doing those. So if you, even if it's once every 4 or 5 months, if there's something that you do, I'm not going to stop you or attempt to stop you from doing it. Now, in terms of a behavior, that's a problem. See, going to a
To me,
strip club
that's
is not
one and the same.
no going. You like to go to museums. I'm not going to stop you from going to museums. That's something you do. Wasting my time, that's a no-no. That's a behavior, not an action.
So just
I'm going to
because
let you.
I'm late doesn't necessarily mean that I'm wasting your time because I'm always late.
But you and I have already had this discussion. I've already told you there's 5 things of mine that you can't violate: my time, my money, my food, my family, my emotions. Those are no fly zones. You get shot down doing that. I'll let you know once. The second time you do it, it's a done deal because you already setting the precedent.
Do you think I could ask a question to the moderator and to the host of the show?
Go
Go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, what's your name? I'm sorry, I never got it
I'm
the first time.
I'm David.
David, okay. How did it's a little off topic, but the time's running out, so I wanted to ask before we go. How did you relate to the song I showed you?
Well, I seen it. I know it was a nice beat. It was a nice flow. It seemed like a motivational thing. Was that you singing the song?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, it
But
was.
yeah, the lyrics. I'm saying like lyric wise, didn't really get anything like you couldn't relate to it too much?
I'm the type I have to listen to it a couple times. I listened to it. I was at work doing virtual work, and then I clicked on it and listened to it. I was like, all right, I have to go back to it and dissect the words. But from the beat, whatever, I know that I can get into it. So I'll be able to give you more feedback when I listen to it again, John.
All right, okay, that's all I got. I'm sorry for interrupting you all too.
No problem.
Oh,
So
you
Wait a minute,
no,
it's
no,
okay.
I'm serious. We're
Okay, so
gonna
I got
end
something
this.
else. Okay, so I got something else to say. So in the beginning, if I set boundaries, parameters, expectations, and you think you can't deal with it, then that's on you. I've
correct.
dated guys that have said, I do go to the strip club once in a while. And I said, well, I don't think that's appropriate for my man to be seen out in the strip club. Just like when I was dating a captain in the army and he was in Iraq and I got selected to be a model for this campaign in Austin, Texas. He was like, I don't want you to do that because I don't feel like that's appropriate for as a captain in the army for his woman to be showing her curves like that. It was a curvy campaign. So I was like, okay, I understand where you're coming from, and I didn't do it.
Right, but but
And that's
but
plain and
that was
simple.
something. No, but that wasn't something you did before you met him. That's why I make
Because
the
I didn't
distinction.
have because I was in the army for a long time and I didn't have the opportunity, never presented itself.
Either
Now, if
way,
you're going
go ahead.
we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one too,
No, it's
because
it's
I don't
it's
feel
not
like
about.
it's
It's an
appropriate.
understanding.
I don't feel like certain things are appropriate. Just like if you're my man and you been going to hotels, getting your, you know, getting your dick sucked. I'll say that right out loud. And now you get with me.
Dick
Are you going to
turns.
continue to do that? No, because that's inappropriate behavior. It's inappropriate. I don't. I have
Well,
expectations.
that's inappropriate unless you want an open relationship, right?
Well, I mean, you're gonna know that in the beginning. I ain't one for. I don't share, and I don't want a man to share me. I'm
I was
territorial.
just saying it all depends on the person, and that's why everyone's not compatible with everyone.
Hey, we
Well,
may have to
yeah, of
pick this
course.
one up Monday, Dave.
No, and I'm realizing this, whatever. We're gonna nip this because Monday was 3 hours, whatever. But this is a way to gauge whatever some different talking points for Monday's show. Like I said, I want this to carry on. I know people don't get mad if I say like you have Bible study and all this. I want this to be like a platform that talking points evolve. They just keep, you take notes like, oh, we ain't done with this conversation yet. We got to talk
Mm,
about this, and you take
nope.
notes, and it grow. So take your notes down and say, for you, Anita, you was like, oh, we're not done with this. We're gonna wait till Monday when Soraya and the gang comes on. So, David, I'm going to inbox you this talking point, and then we're going to bring it up. And John, if you have any talking points that you want to address, and we're going to tackle those, and I think it'll carry over and it'll get bigger. Swanda said adults don't need permission from their partners to enjoy extracurricular activities. Be respectful and faithful
It's
unless the relationship is open.
it's not about permission. It's about respecting your relationship and the boundaries and the expectations in that unwritten contract that you have with the other person.
Remember what was that show, Herb? That remember we was talking about contracts. I can't. I'm getting old. I can't grasp it. But didn't we have a show the other like about a month ago? We were talking about contracts and stuff like that, and people were like totally clueless, like contracts.
Oh, yes, we did. I can't remember right now. I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Like I said, this stuff always come back to forefront, whatever, no matter what, no matter what, these conversations, whatever. Let me read. Frederick said, I need to know how to get on the screen like y'all, David. Okay, you just got to click on the link, and we're going to make sure that I'm going to make sure I send you the link for Monday's show, Fred. Swanda said, I'm going to go see strippers if I want.
And
Hey,
different females may feel differently about it, and that's fine, but from my perspective, it's not appropriate for either one.
Mhm.
If I'm in a relationship, I'm gonna feel that I'm disrespecting my man by being around a whole bunch of other half naked men strippers. That's just me. I don't like to disrespect my man, because that's only, for me, I feel like that's a form of temptation. And why put yourself in an arena of temptation? And people slip up when they're drunk all the time, or drinking, or just out of temptation. I've been cheated on a lot. I mean, not that I'm insecure. I'm just saying that the temptation is there for most men when they go to the strip club. That's
You
what I
got
hear from most of my guy friends anyway.
Swanda said the man get completely naked. I wouldn't know about that. So
And if I mean, I don't know, if I wanted to see a man completely naked, I'd be like, okay, honey, let's plan
rock
some
trial.
freaky deaky
You
shit.
can rock trial right now.
Let let's plan to go to the presidential suite at the hotel on the Riverwalk, and get our fuzzy handcuffs and whatever else we need, our whips,
you
and
you
let's have something fun. And
you and
I
your
will
whip,
see.
you and your whips and belts.
I know,
Wow.
I'm so
Listen,
conservative.
listen. Like I said, we not about to make this in the.
Urban
We're
Dodge,
not
sort
going
of.
to take away from Monday nights. Whatever. We already went over time. So I do want people to get their closing points in. Watch the watch party. Continue to chime in. And I'm always, I throw the watch parties and take notes. This can build off of one thing after another. So I can see right now it's a couple talking points that need
Mhm.
to be addressed on Monday. Uh, so me and Herb can come up with our talking points, but that may not be what y'all want to talk about. We want to talk about what y'all want to talk about.
Yeah.
So if it's something y'all want to put out there, to be honest, I'm tired of coming up with talking points. I want to hear what y'all want to say. Okay, let's talk about this subject because it might be something going on in your immediate life right then and there. So, with that said, Anita, 30 seconds. Give us your closing comment about this particular
That's fine.
scenario. Well, you're gonna have to deal with
I'm
it.
just
So right
okay. I'm just gonna say, when I'm forming the foundation of a relationship, they're gonna know my boundaries, my expectations, and form an idea of our unwritten contract. Whether you can deal with it or choose to deal with it, that's you. Like the whole seafood thing. I that's a different story. If you're married to seafood and you can't handle being without it, then go marry seafood, because it literally makes me physically sick. It's not something like I can help. But for me, when I'm in a relationship, I like to know what expectations my man has so I can respect him as a man. And maybe I'm a little old fashioned, but when I sit down to eat, I feel like my man should sit at the head of the household, head of the table as a head of the household. But if that's the kind of respect that he wants, I think that's, that's fine with me. But we're going to establish to beginning in the beginning what's what, and how can we respect each other.
So,
People
and
have
I
different
know,
expectations of what that means.
and like I said, y'all don't think I plan. I take notes. It's notes. So I got talking points. I'm gonna write. We could go back and have this conversation about this contract thing or
Yeah,
expectations, whatever.
yeah, I got something to say on
I
that
mean,
too.
And go ahead, get your closing point in. Nita, you're done. You're done.
Uh, I,
all right.
I wanted
I'm just gonna
I
say there's
wanted
a
to
difference between booty smacks and actually hurting me. That's like a
okay,
boundary. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, okay. I wanted to say what one problem I've had with setting boundaries in relationships is, I mean, I will be as open and honest as I can, but on the other hand, you do need to have your cards kind of close to your chest, because at the end of the day, I I feel like people do like to push people's buttons, and if they know what's going to really piss you off, then they're going to use it when they're pissed off. And that's it. I've noticed where grow not grows. Well, in me, yeah,
Yeah,
for me,
girl.
grows in my relationship are real spiteful, and it's hard to open up and tell the truth, because literally, stuff I went through, it's just like they don't even want to hear it. They don't even want to hear the truth of my life. It's because it's so like painful for I guess them to even hear it, or for they don't even want to deal with it, and it's just like, yo, you can't always be too open and honest with everyone. You can't be too open and honest, because then everything's gonna fall out, and you're just gonna be left alone with all your shit on the floor. That's all I got.
Okay,
I'm
appreciate
sponging
it.
tonight, man. I'm like you, David. I'm just taking the points in mentally. I'm good.
And I know some of your talking points here may come out of this, and that's fine too. Her, I already know what you're gonna say. All
Growth and understanding occurs in the gray area.
right. Go ahead, the last part. Godspeed, huh?
Yeah, Godspeed, and I'll see you Monday.
All right.
Wednesday's gonna be hit or miss for me, depending on what my schedule is, because usually I'm getting ready around 9 o'clock. But I can always change that depending on what's going on. That's not really an issue.
Yeah, and I just threw this out there. Like I said, it's time to grow and try to pick up the pace, or whatever, and have more conversations besides on Monday. So this was a trial thing, but I think, hey, it's looking good so far. Whatever these conversations, people want to talk, so we're going to continue to have them. And I appreciate Anita coming on. Also, my man Herb, John from America, my man Jace. Jay, with a J Boogie, Sean John, whatever we want to call him, coming on. And hey, let's continue to grow and continue to have these conversations and get your talking points.
Yeah.
Um, for John on YouTube, Carolyn, thanks for joining us also in the YouTube world. Drop your talking points in the comment section, and we can bring up these conversations, because it's something that really needs to be had. These conversations, and right now we're minimized on as far as in face-to-face conversation, but people don't mind that. They think it's a joke, but till somebody seriously die that they know, and they
Yeah.
say, "Damn, shit is for real." It
Yeah.
is for real.
Yeah,
People
that's
are dying. If people are dying,
mhm.
you don't want to get caught up in that. And if you have any other conditions prior to that, you're putting yourself more at risk, whatever. So all these wild parties, because now is the time. New Year's Eve, Christmas, New Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve. Yeah, I better you better think twice how you do it. How you do it this year. Shit ain't a game, man. It's not a game. It's not a
Yeah, I
game,
know
man.
somebody that just tested positive for COVID, and
I know a few
she's
people. We
my
had one.
mom's
I know
my
somebody
mom's
that's died
best
from it,
friend's
and I know
mother.
a couple people that have contracted it. One of my
Yeah.
old running boys, one running partners, contracted it. He survived, but they say the damage that it does is everlasting. So you never really, even though you recover physically, there's still some scar tissue internally.
So we just have to be careful. So right now, everything, a lot of things is virtual, and we still have to have these conversations. Whether it can't just be church. It can't just be Bible study. This stuff has to go on, these conversations. And that's what we have to think about. A lot of people wait around. Oh, they just go to church on Sundays and they think that's going to fulfill them. No, these conversations have to happen throughout the week and with somebody else as the facilitator and not pastor who you're scared to say anything to. We have to make it a non-threatening situation. Y'all can say what the hell y'all want to me and her, cuss us out or whatever the case is. Be yourself. I ain't gonna be mad at you. I'm gonna love you more and say, man, I appreciate that. More than likely, I'm gonna be cracking up. But that's how it gotta be.
I already know.
Yeah. We gonna sign out, and this was the first one, and I'm gonna tell you ahead of time. Um, the next one, fires Wednesday, Thursday, depends on how it works. What day works for you, Herb,
I
throughout the
don't
week?
know. I don't have a set schedule, so like I said, it doesn't matter. Whatever you decide, I work with.
Okay. So the next one out of this is I'm just going through my scenario two, endless love. So what I think that is some like high school connection or something that people reconnected in their older years and they manifested their love. I know we all have those type of situations. We're going to talk about that. The new Bible. The new Bible for 6 years old. Cocktail conversations. Get mad at me if you want. I don't care. I don't care. I ain't going nowhere.
I'm
All
writing
right,
my
good
own
people.
book.
Yeah,
I
write your
encourage
book.
people to do.
All right, we about to get out Monday night. If you got something to say, drop some talking points, whatever. We usually always have the main theme, then five, then we reduced it down, but just drop them and then we'll just keep running tab and we're gonna get these conversations out. And hopefully, this might help us grow, whatever, and learn
It
something
will,
from other people.
definitely. I think we should limit to 2 talking points because we
So
never get
talking point.
through more than one and a half.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. And I'm evaluating that. Maybe three. Maybe
Mhm.
the main theme and two other ones, whatever. And that may have to
Well,
be the focus.
1 and 2 always leads to something crazy like 2 week
Yeah,
like last week. So
yeah. Well, hey, that's how it goes.
So we're gonna set the standard. We have one theme and two other talking points, and we're gonna go from there. How does that sound?
Like a plan.
it's your
All right. So drop your
we'll
talking
see
points
how
if you
that
got
goes.
one. You got one, drop it. All right, John said good night. Carolyn, thanks for joining. Have a blessed night. And Swanda, Anitra, and everybody else that joined, just trying something out to keep the conversations going. And I appreciate you all. And we gonna talk on Monday. But
All right, people.
everybody before
Oh,
that
we
have
gotta wait all the way
good
till Monday.
good holidays. Hey,
Yeah,
if it gets that big, whatever, who knows, man? Herb may not be a part of it. We can have these conversations, but I like to stream them and like to build up the status for my brand as well as other people could be branding themselves as well.
yep.
Uh, so that's what it's about. All
Hmm.
right. So
So
feel
I
free
want
to
a woman
continue.
set up.
Y'all stay fed up, but we're gonna talk
I'm
about that
just
too. All right.
kidding.
We're gonna talk about whack ass contracts on Monday. We're gonna talk about that. All right, good people. We're gonna get out of here. I appreciate
All
y'all.
right, y'all take
Everybody have
care.
a holidays.
All right, Merry
Good
Christmas, Happy
Christmas, Merry
Holiday.
Christmas, and be safe. And stop being around people that you know nothing about.
Yeah. All right, people.
Hmm.
All right, we out.
Oh crap! I'm getting a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Who is
Mm-hmm.
calling?
You're gonna leave at that note. Goodbye.